Well, it's interesting. The Apostle Paul wrote to Timothy, a young bloke, and he used an important word: study. Study. And I think a lot of people have forgotten how to study. It's more than just a read before bed to say that was nice and doze off to sleep. That's never going to get you there. That's nice and you'll pick up things and God will speak to you. But you need to study. And study is a discipline. It usually requires a pen and a paper. It usually requires more than one book, sometimes a reference book.
Yeah.
It requires sometimes a bit of planning. And this is the thing. There is great reward in that discipline. And I learned early on, and the reason I had to study and get the reward was because I had to teach it. Yeah. And it's very, I often say to people, when you're going through scripture, imagine you have to express the truth to somebody else and learn it on that level. It's not until you try and articulate it yourself in a way that's meaningful that you suddenly go, oh, gosh, I need to do more work here. That's really important. So I think that there's discipline required, and the Bible is a fairly big book. It's actually not insanely big, but it's fairly big. A lot of the actual books in the Bible can be read pretty quickly.
Yep. I think Mark takes an hour and a half or something.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a classic example.
Yeah.
And, Mark's an average length book, based on the whole scripture. Obviously, Isaiah is going to take longer, but there's plenty that are shorter. It's important to note that. And I, once I printed off the whole book of Romans on A4 pages, and I thought, the printer's run out of ink or something because there's not enough pages here. No, it's actually not that much.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible, but it's got a lot of depth.
Yes.
And so I'd say, there's work required in firstly understanding the scope, the overall scope, where it goes and what it's all about, and then focusing in on the depth of the particularly key areas. But if you're listening to good preaching and if you're reading good books, you'll find out where those key areas are to start with. That's so important.